wheels it up, and a shot, they score. Sanderson rifles it. That didn't take long. It's 4-0.
Well, this is not much fun.
Open high slot, left side, Batherson scores. Might be time to wave the white flag.
I think they have to.
It is 6-0.
The Gophers pick it off. Here's a chance for Zemer down the right. Drops it up to Paulson. To Slenderud. He scores! Jimmy Slenderud hits 20 goals for the third straight year. Now the final couple of seconds tick down. Game over. Gophers win 5-2. Congratulations for netminder Liam Soulier. Badgers heading off the ice to our left. The Gophers still congregating around their netminder. And that was a happy finish after a sluggish start, as you pointed out several times tonight, Sam. But just good to see how they could come back.
Joe O, as in Joe O'Donnell, and Frank Mazzacco.
Wally Shaver.
Wally Shaver, thank you. Our 3-2, Wally Shaver was the last voice you heard there because the KFAN, vast and ever-expanding audio network, is your home for Minnesota Wild hockey and suddenly surging Golden Gophers hockey. Joining us now, Pat Micheletti at PatMick2626, calls college hockey games for KFAN, the iHeart family, and also on Fox 9. And our beloved Mick Tockett, Pat Micheletti, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Sorry.
Good to see you.
You too. Sorry I missed Saturday, but you were having some fun on the microphone Friday night, my man, calling that Gophers win against Bucky. Great job as usual, and the home team made it fun for you.
Yes, they did. Important series against a team that has been playing a ton better in the conference, the Wisconsin Badgers. And whenever you play the Badgers, it's always going to be a tough series. And but Minnesota needed to they needed a sweep. They need to feel good about themselves, and they did that this weekend.
Do you have a preference when calling games, radio or TV, TV or radio? TV or audio or TV?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
You know, being on the radio, you can have so much more fun. You have a little bit more time, and that part of it is really fun. The TV part is also fun. But so you know what? I like being there, and so that make a difference.
In watching a fair amount of it Friday, once I heard my beloved Mick Tockett on Fox 9 Plus.
Fox 9.
Yeah, it was Fox 9. It was the Big Bird. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I'm watching the majority of that. I mean, you're having a great time. Team's looking great. The crowd sounded like it was really, really big and engaged and into this thing.
The largest crowd they've ever had on Saturday.
In the history of Gophers hockey.
Yes, 10,897.
Hauser, all that.
Yep.
Stuff to the gills, huh?
21,000 on the weekend. 21,000 and change. Yeah, it was, and they had a gold out on Saturday, so it was crazy. It was a 5:00 game too, which some people like on a Saturday, and so it was pretty crazy in there.
Right. So I think it's apparent what Nordo shared 9 to noon, January 21st. There's no doubt people are starting to get out more.
I always love that one.
Oh, you were saying?
Well, I wanted to clip and getting back to specifically the attendance.
What happened?
Because at one point, Pat, and you know, in the 11, 12 years or whatever that I've been at the Fan, and I've known you for all of them, at one point the Gophers related conversation was, what are they going to do to bring students into the mix? What are they going to do to bring fans back into Mariucci? And it's kind of been that battle and conversation at times where the Gophers have never been awful. Now, in recent years under Motzko, you can feel this wave as they start to push themselves into true, consistent, perennial national prominence again, which is badass.
Yeah.
But what has truly changed to a point where, and maybe there are circumstances in a singular event, certainly, but you're seeing the excitement and the fervor around this team that fills a place, like you said, nearly 22,000 people over the course of the 2 games.
Two things. One, they're not dinging the students like they used to in terms of pricing. So it's affordable for them to get in.
Sweet.
And secondly, and most importantly, Bob Motzko is one of might be the best recruiter in college hockey, the high-end talent. And it's when you can go and watch a Jimmy Snuggerud, a Logan Cooley, a Matthew Nyes, a Brock Faber, a Jackson Lacombe, a Brody Zemer of this year, Ryan Chesley, the Middlestead brothers. You can go on, right? You're getting high-end talent and it's entertainment, right? We're in the entertainment business. Those guys entertain.
Well, and you mentioned whether it's Snuggerud. I mean, the draft picks galore, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, just the roster is absolutely stacked.
There's 5 number 1 draft picks on the team, if I'm correct. And so, I mean, yeah. And so you're watching what is going to be National Hockey League talent, right at the college level. It's really enjoyable to watch. And they really, they love the college scene, these guys. Yeah, they want to get to the NHL. Who doesn't? But they really, really enjoy it. And that makes it a lot more fun also.
Did we learn more about Motzko's team with the 0-1-1 at East Lansing or the recent sweep here against Bucky?
Well, here's the way I look at it. Early in the season, and this is for every team, you have a lot more. You're trying to figure out who your team is. You have a lot more ice to play with, so you can make more plays. The intensity level after January really ramps up. And so all of a sudden it's new to some teams and you have to really drill into them. Okay, every shift is going to be hard. Every period is going to be hard. Every game is going to be hard for the full 60 minutes. And so, as soon as teams get to that point where they understand it, and I think it has taken Minnesota.
Eye-opener at East Lansing.
Eye-opener, at East Lansing.
Especially Friday.
Yeah, no question about it.
Oh, that Friday game. You watched them all. I haven't.
And I'll take you back to the Ohio State series where they lost the first night, and played much better the second night. But you have to do that every night. Mm-hmm. And so, but I think they're starting to understand it, and they were good. They were good both nights.
The former Nittany Lion, Soulier.
Yeah.
Not Soulier.
It's Soulier.
Soulier. So despite splitting goalies most of the year, Liam Soulier got the net both games last weekend. Came through with flying colors, it seemed.
Yeah.
Have we settled at this stage of the equation? February's here. Have we settled into the former Nittany Lion as the true number 1?
Well, I'm certainly not going to speak for Bob, and only Bob knows that.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure Airy is still going to play.
He's a sophomore. He'll get over it.
Yep, he will. Soulier add something to the Minnesota goaltending that we haven't seen in a long time. This kid handles the puck. If you remember Marty Brodeur, how he handled the puck, and
Alex Stalock.
You get it, you make that pass to your defenseman, and then one pass out of the zone. Mm-hmm. He does that for Minnesota, and I don't care. You can't dispel the fact that he's played over 100 games in the Big Ten. 100 games. So he's been there. He's done that. He's seen the good. He's seen the awful. Been through the good. Been through the awful himself. And so he really adds some calmness back there. Yeah. So I don't know which way they're going to eventually end up, but he's been really good. He was really good this past weekend.
That was an honor of mine. That last sentence, that last paragraph, to include Alex Stalock in the same sentence as Martin Brodeur.
I always love that.
It's an absolute honor of mine to put them in the same sentence.
If you'd ask Alex, he'd probably tell you, him, Marty Brodeur.
Yes, Brodeur. It goes Dryden, Stalock, Brodeur. So let's just make sure we get the hierarchy right.
I hope you're listening, Alex.
This you're the level of love, like on social media, if it was just a picture, it'd be like love somebody the way Mick Tocchet loves Jimmy Snuggerud.
Oh, boy.
I mean, Friday night, man, and he's good. I mean, this Jimmy Snuggerud, ain't nobody breaking any news here. I mean, he's fantastic. I would imagine it's the best he's ever played. Now, when you hear Patrick describing him on Fox 9 on Friday night, I mean, it was a cross between Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, and Zach Parise when he played up in Grand Forks.
The most humble kid that you'll ever, I mean, you want to talk about a team player and, he doesn't look at it, I have to get my goals tonight. He just flat out leads. And when I honestly, and I say this, and I'm talking about National Hockey League players, I've never seen a quicker release of a shot than what he has. I mean, it's mind blowing.
You mean in college hockey?
I mean, the National Hockey League also.
There we go. Brodeur, Stalock, all-time Snuggerud. Got it.
Well, I'm 100% serious. He gets the puck.
No, you're accurate. You're on the mural.
And it is accurate, and it is hard, and it is precise. The goal he scored to Minnesota was down 2-0. Didn't have a great first period. Second period, Snuggerud gets one. Picks the puck off the boards, takes one look, bam! Wow. And the goalie didn't even move. Their goaltender did not move.
Right.
And he hit the perfect spot. And it was in, and it was out, and it was,
In the business, we call it sniping.
Yeah, thank you.
And when they were down 2-0, and you're calling the game on the Niner, and the building's quiet, were you ripping the squad?
I was saying, if they would like to get back into this game, they better match the intensity of the other team. And I'll do credit to Wisconsin. They came out and punched Minnesota in the face, and Minnesota's looking around like, what hit us?
Yep.
But
then Motzko delivered the uppercut, and down goes Hastings.
All he said in the second period was, enough. And they came out, and then they matched it and overtook them and scored the next 5 goals. So
I have a hardcore hockey question for you.
Yes.
That involves college hockey. Then we segue to the Wild and to whatever else is on your mind. So hardcore hockey with the Talkities on the mural at Mariucci, don't add us. Your Gophers are 52nd in the country winning faceoffs.
Yeah, it's a problem.
52nd. I mean, if they did pairwise on winning faceoffs, holy cow.
It's a problem.
I mean, we'd be down there playing, I don't know. Is that a problem? Because it was against Michigan State. And that's like where I have a trained eye, as you know.
Yep.
That's where it caught my trained eye. Didn't pay close attention to it over the weekend, but they can beat Wisconsin. They can beat Bucky without winning every faceoff. But then I'm like, let's just get into this and see what it looks like. Well, I didn't know there were 52 college hockey teams in the country.
64.
We're 52nd out of 64?
Yes.
Damn, that's not great for business, Tocchet.
No. They were better this weekend. In fact, in the second period where they eventually started to take over the game, well, lo and behold, they were 70% in the second period.
Oh, wow.
And Jimmy Clark didn't lose a draw. He was a monster on the draws. And their emphasis is obviously has been, it was the past week of getting a little bit more intense in the face-off circle. And so they were better. Do they still have a ways to go? For sure. But yeah, that's something, because if you don't win the draws on a consistent basis, you don't control the puck. And Minnesota is a puck control team. They get it. They transition. They move it. And they're on the go. But if you don't, you are chasing. And it's not going to bode well for any team that is chasing all night long.
So as a puck control team, all right, to casual, not casual hockey guy, but casual college hockey guy with style of play, do they still complain about rink sizes? Like, are we still playing?
No, that ship has sailed.
In a sandbox one week and then an NHL arena the next.
No, for the most part, I think there's only 2. St. Cloud and somewhere else out east that has the big ice sheet.
So if we are a puck control team, is that the equivalent to 3 yards in a cloud of dust? We're going to grind out games against you, or can we go greatest show on turf, but actually make it ice and play racehorse hockey?
You can the latter. The latter. For
That's
Minnesota.
what we do.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we do. So you got to have good blue liners.
That's why we do. And we do it because of the skill level that Minnesota has 1 through 4 in their lineup and their D-core. When Minnesota's D-core, in my opinion, get involved in the play, when they join the rush, the Rinzells, the Kesters, the Chesleys, the Middlesteads, then you have the other team saying, well, who do we cover?
Yeah.
And how do we cover? Because they're always moving and, they're cycling the puck but they can do that because they have the skill level. If you don't have the skill level, you can't do it.
Yeah.
Because, the passing, the shooting, and the stick handling.
But if you don't have the blue liner seeing it clearly and they overpinch because they want to be the jockey as part of racehorse hockey,
then
you got rushes going the other way, and then all of a sudden you're down 3-0.
Exactly. So with that skill that they have on the blue line, they also have smarts on the blue line. So you know when to do that. Okay? And so that's a big part of why Minnesota's so good, is that their D is so good.
This is Luke Mittelstadt, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so this has to be the last of the Mittelstadts, right?
There's 2 of them, Luke and John.
John, okay.
John centers a line, and
is he a junior?
Yes.
Okay, my daughter's a senior.
They both are.
My daughter, Nicole, went to elementary, middle, and part of high school with the Mittelstadts.
Right.
Specifically, Luke, they're the same age.
I've never seen 2 guys more competitive in my life.
Really? What about Casey?
Well, yeah, you can add him. He's the leader of the group, so they follow his lead.
Right.
But guys that, are currently,
they're rink rats.
That are currently on and, they'll play ping pong against each other before the game.
What about hacky sack?
I don't know. You can ask them.
Yeah.
But anything.
Oh, no, wait, the soccer ball bit.
Yeah. Anything. Those 2 compete against each other, and they'll fight to the death to be on top. And, and it shows how they play on the ice. They both. Luke Mittelstadt is probably won't get the accolades that anybody else does. Might be the best defenseman in the Big Ten. Might be the best defenseman. Completely underrated.
Really?
Doesn't get beat.
Michigan State has a creature. I can't remember his name.
Bateman. No.
Oh.
But he had a good.
Yep.
Yeah, he was good.
Anyway. Con.
Yes.
If we have a Vox on the Box on Thursday, does that in any way impede your schedule or your day?
I don't believe so, no.
Pat Micheletti at Pat Mick 2626, 9 to noon. It's 10:24. One wild question, then we pause, and then we pay off the whole thing.
Okay.
So you're wild. That Ottawa game. All right. So did you call Saturday on Fox 9?
I did. So I missed the.
Yeah, ain't no big deal.
Yep.
Well, seriously, I mean, when it was 2-0, I was about. They just didn't have it. I mean, there was nothing.
No.
It was rare that you would see that from them during the course of the year, specifically on the road. But the Ottawa game, man, oh geez. Just so tell me if you can buy into this. And I don't find it to be a loser's lament. I find it to be accurate, but nevertheless, it does have a side dish of loser's lament, and here they are. So they win at Toronto, which is hard.
Very hard.
Then the Fleury game in his hometown.
Very emotional.
And you shut him out.
Yes.
And then now, nobody cares about Ottawa. Okay, nobody wants to go to Ottawa. Nobody cares about Ottawa.
They took the train from Montreal to Ottawa.
Great.
And,
it's not even an original 16.
No.
So you go from Toronto. That's immortality there. Beat Austin Matthews. We just did something. Now we got Flowers game. This is a big one, boys. Lot of intestinal fortitude and mental tenacity required.
Yes.
And they kill them. And now you go to Ottawa and you get blasted 6-0. So maybe they were just like on E physically and mentally.
100%.
So don't you see what I'm saying there?
Yes. And if you go through every team.
I'm not like super mad at that loss.
No, if you go through every team in the National Hockey League, every team, I'm talking the Florida Panthers, up and down, right?
Yeah.
You look and say, how did they lose 5-1?
No, wait. We're not talking about Wolves Wizards. We're talking about Wild Ottawa.
And we're talking, right? I mean, case in point, right there. It in an 82-game season, are you kidding me?
Kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have 4, you're going to have 5 floppers. You don't want it.
Yeah.
It's not, what are we going to do? It happens. And do you think they're thinking, boy, are we any good? Oh, wait, we have 66 points. We're in second place in our conference. No, you talk about it and you say, okay, we got to be better, blah, blah, blah. but you move on to the next game. And going in, by the way, into this 5-game road last 5 games before the Four Nations Cup.
No, this is a 5-game road trip.
Yeah,
I mean, with Boston tomorrow night.
Yes. And I'm thinking, win 3 of them, come up above 500 in those. Hallelujah.
Yep.
Right? With Kaprizov out, and now with Hartman, we're going to find out today. Right. But, you're above 500. Thank you very much.
But there could be some good news for the Minnesota Wild roster into tomorrow night's game. That and more with Pat Micheletti, our beloved Mick Tockett in studio, 9 to noon. It's 10:27, and here's the con.
Yeah, the fan wants to give you a chance to put $1,000 in your hand with the National Cash Contest. Go to KFAN.com, enter the keyword check. You might win $1,000 with the keyword check. Just enter it now, KFAN.com.
Pick your poison with that defense.
Nine to noon.
Just listen. Big boy's back. Personal foul. Clipping.
And that's a fact. What in the ham fat is going on with you guys?
Ooh. So Brodeen could return tomorrow at Beantown.
Yep.
And obviously it's going to help, but like how much is that going to help and why?
It only helps if he stays healthy, and you don't know what you're getting back when he does come back in the lineup.
That was an uncalled for stray.
I don't know. Listen. He's a great player. We all know that. He defends as well as anybody in the league. But his health is a big concern, and there's no other way to assess it than stay healthy for 20 games in a row.
Yeah.
Because that's going to impact what Bill Guerin can or cannot do at the trade deadline, which is a month away, and so. And we know what their cap situation is like, and that's why I go back to, maybe at some point, if they really want to make a deal, if they really think they have a chance, you may have to ask one of your guys who has a no move clause, a no trade clause, to accept it.
Like who?
That's not for me to decide.
I don't even know who has a no trade clause.
There's probably about 10 or 11 of them.
Oh, okay. Really? We got that many with no trade clauses?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Or partial ones or this or that. And so, and what we've seen is that it's not impossible to make something like that happen. You look no further than the trade that Calgary made with Philadelphia last week. One of the guys from Calgary had to accept the no move, and
JT Miller may have traded to the Rangers.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct. And yes, he did.
Yeah,
and so it's not out of the possibility of that happening if there's a trade that Bill Guerin thinks will help his team.
You mentioned Ryan Hartman.
Yes.
And
very disappointing.
Well, I don't want to call him an enigma.
I mean,
but he does. It's just the reason I bring this up like this is every week, when we have the privilege of interviewing Wild head coach Sean Hines.
Yeah.
It's whenever I bring up some form of Hartman related question, and it's not necessarily Whoa, hat trick. What got into him? Whoa, hasn't registered a point in 2.5 weeks. It's a common thread answer with Coach Hines. When he's moving his legs, or when he's moving his feet, or both, he's a menacing presence every single time he mentions it. So that might have some enigmatic to it, but what do you think of his season? Because he can score. I mean,
he can.
And he's tough. He's a tough guy. He's a wild card, man.
He's 2 years removed from 30-plus goals that he had. Now, granted, he played with Zuccarello and Kaprizov. But, he's a good hockey player. But I don't know if it's just like a mental lapse. He knows that he has 5 suspensions already. And he knows the next one, it's an automatic. And he also knows that this team is strapped financially with the cap. And he really put his team in a really difficult spot because he'll go on suspension and his salary still counts against the cap.
Yeah.
They can't remove that. And so it really puts him in a tough situation. We'll see how many games he ends up getting. But, I think February 29th is the first game or 28th, whatever, that he could potentially play again. And so they can't add anyone.
Wow.
They can't bring anybody up. Because they don't, Bill Guerin told us they had, $39,000?
Yep.
Who are you going to bring up? You can't.
I know.
And so that really hurts the team, for the near future.
All right, lastly, the Four Nations face-off.
Yes.
USA, Canada, February 15th. In Montreal. Cool matchup in the first place, but now with the tariff stuff and the Star-Spangled Banner getting booed in Canadian arenas, this sucker is set to be supercharged, isn't it?
I think it'll pump the Canadian team. There's no question about that, and we'll see how the U.S. deals with it. But I think if we're just handicapping that. The U.S. team is really, really good. And I think a little bit deeper than Canada, and I think they're stronger in goal.
Sidney Crosby's a fourth liner for this Canadian team I'm looking at. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but Sidney, it's all, if you look at it as a fourth line.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though.
Yeah, right. But you're going up against McKinnon, McDavid. I just think depth-wise and that the U.S., has a really good chance to win it.
So from a Wild standpoint, Boldy us.
Yep.
Faber us.
Yes.
And then you get the Finns. We don't have any Finns.
No. Ek.
A couple of Swedes here. Yeah. Joel Eriksson Ek, Jonas Brodin, and beloved Gus. Oh, wait a second. I think Markstrom got hurt?
Yes.
Yeah, for the Devils.
And Linus Ullmark for the Ottawa Senators. Yeah. He's gonna play, I think, tonight or tomorrow.
He's giving up 6 to Ottawa. He's the number one goalie for the Swedish team.
Right. Yeah, Sweden's really good. If I'm Bill Guerin, I have a nice chat with Brodin and say, why don't you go to the Bahamas for a week?
Any way to get to the Bahamas, but when it comes to rest and rehabilitation and healing and everything, you're the best. Thank you for coming by. Would love to do it frequently up to the conclusion of the hockey season if you have time. All right.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah. Pat Micheletti, 9 to noon. Back to sports. Well, I can't say it's sports A topic the week of a Super Bowl. That's tough. We got a 1 and a 1A. We got Super Bowl. We got Luka AD. We got Luka AD. We have the Super Bowl. But nevertheless, from a splashy standpoint, Luka Doncic being traded by the Dallas Mavericks, and supposedly Coach Jason Kidd was not informed of the deal before it transpired. For Anthony Davis of the LA Lakers, next couple of guests can analyze that, both from the bellies of the beast in that Bob Sturm, the ticket in Dallas, Drive Time Radio Immortality. He's going to join us around the corner. After that, Orono's Mike Trudell, who is an ace sideline reporter for the LA Lakers. That's about 20 minutes from now. You're listening to the vast and ever-expanding 9 to noon audio network.
9 to noon.
Bob Sturm at Sports Sturm via the tweet machine at Sports Sturm. Old Bobby is co-host of the Hard Line on the Ticket in Dallas, a very popular drive time radio show. And our old friend joins us now. Now, Bob, we had to call about that trade, my brother. Of course, the Stars acquiring former Wild playmaking Finn Mikael Granlund. Big news down there, right?
I always love that one.
You can't have enough Finns on your team at the same time. I've always said, PA, you know that.
Right. I mean, I'm looking up stuff on your Twitter and everything. I'm like, damn, Mikael Granlund got traded. But Saturday on Twitter, all right, on the X machine. So here's main man Bob Sturm, Sports Sturm. You're going back and forth with somebody on the over-under of how many titles Luka Doncic would win with the Mavs.
Yeah.
And then the next day...
Well, no. To be fair, I said titles.
Yeah.
We didn't say where.
Yeah, it's very, very good point. And needs to be added for the context because, as you and I know, context is king. So the next day, and seemingly under the cover of darkness... Doncic is traded to the Lakers. This ruined your Sunday for several reasons, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, and I think Monday's pretty well shot now, too.
But Monday's a regular work day. So Sunday has some Sunday chill to it. And then all of a sudden you got to start thinking about stuff like this that's Monday through Friday type stuff.
That's right. No, it's easily... I would say easily the biggest DFW sports story since Jimmy Johnson was dismissed 6 weeks after winning his second Super Bowl in a row. So that's the only comp I have here as far as shocking and ridiculous sports stories in our fair city.
Right.
And neither of them make sense, and I don't anticipate, much like Jimmy's exit, other than Gary's kind of a knucklehead, I'm not positive I'll ever find a answer on how this makes sense on any level. This is, I mean, who knows better than the citizens of Minneapolis what this guy's powers are?
Stop that.
And for crying out loud, how do you walk away from that at age 25? That's insane.
That was completely uncalled for our basketball team to catch that stray, Sports Sturm, when we're doing the best we can here in the cornfields. And there was more than Luka that bumped us out of the playoffs. Okay, Bob?
I saw game two. I don't know. It was pretty much Luka, I think.
All right. Well, I want to ask, because you're a parent, as am I, as is the producer, Nordo. Let me ask you this. Now, my kids are 24 and 22. But what about the kids? I mean, how do parents explain to little Billy, Johnny, Christy, Susie, Tamika, and Antoine, how do you explain to them who love Luka that he's gone?
Yeah. That's I think you and I are on the same page in terms of your teams are your teams and till death do us part. And, I always say your sports team is the only thing you'll feel the same about when you're 4 years old and when you're 74. And you hang in there, and, sometimes it sucks, but that's kind of the journey, right? And instead we got this where, when you talk about loyalty, and in fact, with regards to Dirk's statue, it says right on Dirk's statue, loyalty, I forget the exact quote, but it's a quote based completely on loyalty. Boy, I just set you up, PA, with a quote, and then I forgot the quote, so I'm not very good at this. But the point is, to the kids, to anybody who loves this franchise, they feel different today, and they're never going to change that view. And, I think the suits always think that we will move on the second they start playing games again. And I feel like this is way, way wrong on that front. There are certain guys that if you're going to trade them, I mean, it's your team, but you better have, like, him saying into a microphone, I want out. Because if you do it on your own, and especially if you do it with really no urgency, but still only call one team, the team your fans hate the most, this is bad, man. This is sabotaging a franchise, in my opinion.
And especially if you believe loyalty never fades away.
I always love that one.
Right?
Yeah.
That's on the statue, right?
That's the quote on the statue. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, loyalty never fades away. All right, well, first, there's just so much here. Bob Sturm, at Sports Sturm, Drive Time, The Ticket, Dallas, show's called Hardline, it's the bomb. There's no, I mean, they say it's true. Maybe it is. But there's no way it can be completely true that Coach Jason Kidd didn't know the deal was coming. I mean, that has to be a no-chancer.
You would sure think so. You would hope, if this trade is happening, that there are high-level meetings with everyone that's going to have to deal with this. And the head coach is right after you probably tell the owner. I would say the owner probably gets at least the ability to tell you that there's no way I'm letting you do this. Are you insane? Do you know why people buy tickets to watch us play? Do you know why people buy suites, season tickets, the whole bit? Like, tell me I'm wrong here. I almost have to go back to Gretzky leaving Edmonton to understand this in like comparative terms. This is so off the charts for me.
It's very emotional, and we cannot put ourselves in the emotional shoes currently being worn by you and all the Luka fans in the Big D market. I understand that, but it's not like you got chopped liver in return, okay? And with Anthony Davis, with Gafford and Lively and Washington and Kyrie and Clay, now the secondary ball handling, we could talk about that in a little bit if you want to go hardcore. But I just wonder if the Dallas Mavericks win the NBA championship this year and Anthony Davis has a say in it, which he will, what's everybody going to say then?
Well, yeah, I mean that will be a very interesting position to put people in, but I don't think they're by any stretch of the imagination closer to winning a title than they were before they did this.
Well,
do you?
Well, it's a great.
They were in the NBA Finals last year, right?
Right. And did you watch Luka? I mean, when he got punched, he stopped. That was it. He stopped. He stopped playing. Right.
I would take a look at the performance of his supporting cast, but fair. He did not have his best finals.
Okay. Okay. I mean, this is kind of a big point here, and we're certainly not going to bring you into the cornfields to argue. You're the guest, and I will acquiesce. But I
want to argue with you.
Well, we watch this thing closely, man, and I love the NBA. So just because Dallas bounced my Hal didn't mean he stopped playing defense. If he ever was playing it in the first place in the NBA Finals against high-end wings like Tatum and Brown and even Derek White, and Anthony Davis is not that guy. Okay, he does not do that. So that he has that dog in him, man, and so does Kyrie, and you know it.
Yeah, no, my issue with both of those would be that their window is extremely tiny, and then you have no assets left. You have no draft picks.
Right.
You've spent them all. And in the event that even as early as this summer, when Kyrie has the opportunity to extract himself from the situation, he may, and you literally have no picks left.
Yep.
And the one you just acquired from the Lakers is only redeemable in 4 years when Luka Doncic is 29 playing for them.
I agree.
You know how bad that pick is?
I agree. But, hey, if the person to whom I'm chatting now is, I can get a trip on tomorrow. I got enough to worry about today. So I come at it from that angle, and I know you do too. So I'm not with a straight face saying the Dallas Mavericks won this deal. It is right to not tell your coach when you're moving. The most popular, the signature athlete in the entire town, with all due respect to CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. Maybe I'm wrong with that. Okay, I'm not with a straight face. I'm not saying that. But if we're going to focus on today and let tomorrow take care of itself, the Mavericks can win the NBA championship this year. And just think of the Rams when they went all free agency and got rid of all those picks and everything. And then they went out there and won one. So the question is going to be, is 1 year of love potentially better than a lifetime alone? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and I suppose it goes down to the very heart of why we follow sports. And I would respond to that by saying Luka Doncic made people feel something in their heart of hearts about why they love sports and why they follow these games.
Right.
We sort of cheer for the uniform. That's not incorrect. I mean, if somebody puts on that beautiful purple jersey of yours, they're going to be raised a letter grade in their overall attractiveness, and we both know it, and that's fine. That's what we do. But I don't see how you can. And by the way, comparing him to Micah and CeeDee Lamb, I would say in both cases he's roughly times 10 in terms of popularity.
Thank you.
And so So they just took the most popular player this city has had since, I don't know, Michael Irvin.
Emmitt Smith.
And, I mean, Dirk obviously very, very high.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about Dirk is that he was such a low, what's the term? Low drama guy. He was such a flat line of temper tantrums and emotions that you never thought in a million years he would want to leave. And so from the moment they got Luka seemed to be the type of guy that would almost look at European soccer stars and say, you know what, I need to be at the biggest places. So the idea of Luka going to the Lakers has been an inception seed in everyone's head since the day he arrived, and yet he's never actually suggested he's trying to get out of Dallas. In fact, he's done quite the opposite. And now they trade him to the Lakers, and they tell us that the only team they contacted was the Lakers? Like, I must be on crazy pills now.
But why is that? I mean, when you have an asset like Luka Doncic, I mean, it's tough for me to say it's general managerial malpractice when the guy moved Porzingis, got Gafford, stole P.J. Washington from Charlotte, and it mattered. And now P.J.'s having the best season of his career, and the team went to the finals. So, like the GM constructed things that needed to be done last year to get them there, and he gets credit for that too. But I mean, it honestly is professional malpractice to have an asset like that, know you don't want it for whatever the reasons, and not include other teams if only to pit A against B.
That's right. And so, he's been on a heater. He's been on an enormous heater, but I think he thought that he was making a trade, and he wasn't making a trade. He was literally ripping kind of the soul out of the sports scene in Dallas right now. And I've never seen anything like this. And I'm not from here. My equivalent would be if the Bucks decided we need to send, Giannis away at age 25. And therefore, by the way, you never get Giannis's title run. And you never get any of that. And you never find out that he has no intention of ever leaving you. Yeah. Despite what the shows say. I mean, you guys did this with KG. I mean, there are things to our sports fans where we would rather finish 8th with our guy than win it all in a soulless, we just hired all these guys 3 months ago sort of way. Okay. I mean, I hear what you're saying.
No, come on, man.
Fly forever, but
come on, man. I mean, if we talk, and again, you're a Wisconsinite, and the Bucks are your favorite team, but you're a journalist, and you enjoy the positive vibes that come with the Metroplex. And when the teams are good, I understand. But that's ridiculous to say if they win the NBA championship, we're going to let our emotions of this day that transpired February 2nd, 2025, supersede hoisting the Larry O'Brien. Are you out of your mind?
I might be, and that's the point. The point of being out of your mind is feeling a certain way about guys you love. Yeah. And the fact that and when the organization decides to basically turn a gun on the guys you love, that has ramifications. Hey, so no, I don't think if you guys win a Super Bowl with what's left of the 2024 Green Bay Packers, I don't think it'll feel the same to you. Yep. I think you know in your heart that what it's all about.
There was no need for the Minnesota Vikings to catch a stray there. Do not take your emotional angst out on this team. If I were you, I'd worry more about that quarterback on that absurd deal. Playing in the land of milk and honey, and once you come down from the Luka AD thing, you'll start thinking about that again, and then we'll talk, and it'll be fun. All right, hey, 45 seconds, you get it all. I know you're a hockey guy at heart, Bob Sturm, so I have to hit you with this. This Four Nations coming up, and the February 15th game with USA and Canada is going to be sweet, especially given the rising tensions with our friends to the north.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, that's what drives these international tournaments, right? I mean, we definitely know of the great Canada Cups and even the 96 World Cup. Yeah, this is meaningful. And so is it, on one hand, kind of a made-up event that we're all trying to figure out what is this thing? Yes. But does it mean a lot to the players to play for their national teams and to get after it And there's no doubt the United States is in a great spot, and the way we've been handling the World Juniors is a great sign. So yeah, I'm fired up about it for sure. I just again, like Miro getting hurt last week takes him out of it. So from a Dallas standpoint, we're crying about everything these days.
What,
PA, you know that.
What excites you more, the Four Nations face-off or Brian Schottenheimer as new coach of the Dallas Cowboys?
Okay, now see, strays go both ways, don't they? That's where we are right now. I'm up to my rear end in alligators here, and you're just having a good time.
You are the very best. All right, love you, buddy. God bless you and your covenant. Thanks for the time, and we'll chat soon. All right.
You're the best, PA, and I really enjoyed your stadium up there. That was a fun visit when you ignored me a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's enough focus on the game, because anytime the Vikings destroy the Green Bay Packers, it requires intent and complete focus, so I apologize. Thank you, bud.
Fair enough. See you, man.
Bob Sturm, that's Sports Sturm. The Ticket in Dallas show's called Hardline. He's the co-host, and you can learn more about Bobby at Sports Sturm, at Sports Sturm via the X Machine. All right. Let's get the Los Angeles perspective. Mike Trudell is a longtime sideline reporter for the Los Angeles Lakers, and he also is an Orono, Minnesota native. We'll chat with Michael when we return to KFAN.